Today, we live in a world where divisions seems to outnumber connections. These divides may be social, economic, cultural, or religious. These divides often seem impossible to bridge. But building these bridges, it is not just a necessity, it is the only way to ensure peace, harmony, and progress in a world as diverse as ours. In India, we see these divisions clearly: caste, religion, language, and regional differences. They have created gaps. They have created gaps in our society. If we see globally, we see divisions taking various forms such as race, ethnicity, gender, political ideologies, and economic inequalities. They have created barriers between people, between nations. These divisions are further deepened by issues like immigration, cultural clashes, and unequal access to resources. These divides are not new. They have existed for centuries. Yet they persist because we fail to address them with courage and unity. But the beauty of India and the world, it lies in their diversity. And our strength comes from embracing that diversity. And our strength comes from embracing the transformation. And we have to transform it into unity, which is ultimately leads to harmony and peace. Building bridges, it starts with listening. It is so simple, just we have to listen. Warren Buffett, if we take example of Warren Buffett, he is a prime example of someone who benefited from listening. He often credits his success to the advice and wisdom of his mentors like Benjamin Graham. He listens. He listens carefully to experts and company managers before making decisions. So, in contrast, if we take someone, Napoleon Bonaparte, who didn't listen. So, if we see Napoleon Bonaparte, he made disastrous decision during his Russian campaign by ignoring the warnings of his generals. Yes. They warned him about the harsh winter and logistical challenges, ultimately leading to the collapse of Napoleon's empire. Listening to others, it can lead to success, while not listening to, it can result in failure. When we take the time to listen to those who are different from us, we begin to understand. We begin to understand their experiences, we begin to understand their challenges. If we consider how individuals from marginalized communities, they often face discrimination, they face discrimination in education, they face discrimination in employment. Instead of ignoring these realities, what if we raise our voice for them to thrive? What if we support them, not out of pity, but out of respect for their potential? In our daily lives, we often form opinions based on stereotypes. Stereotypes, whether they are Indian or they are from Western, they often act as invisible walls. They hinder our ability to truly connect with one another and see the full humanity in others. If you take India, in India, one common stereotype is that all Indians are highly spiritual or all Indians are highly religious. In India, one common stereotype is that all Indians are highly spiritual or all Indians are highly religious, with little room for diversity in belief or lifestyles. For instance, this assumption that every Indian practices only one religion, it overlooks the country's vast religious diversity, including a large group of Hindu community, Muslim community, Christian community, Sikh, Buddhist, and other communities. Similarly, the stereotype that all Indian men are domineering or are overly protective of their women. It perpetuates a narrow and sometimes often a negative view of gender relations. It ignores the progressive changes that are happening in our society. On the other hand, Western stereotypes about India, what do they think of India? It can be just as limiting. A typical example is that their portrayal of India as a land of poverty and the Western portrayal of India as a land of filth. It primarily shaped by images of slums and overcrowded cities. This oversimplification, it ignores the country's rapid economic growth. They only see the pictures of slums, but they ignore the country's rapid economic growth, technological advancement, and middle class prosperity. So another stereotype is that all Westerns are, and it's about Westerns, they are so materialistic and individualistic, and they are only driven by solely with the pursuit of wealth and pursuit of success. While there are certainly elements of consumer culture in the West, this view disregards the depths of community, philanthropy, and spiritual movements that also shape Western society. So these stereotypes, labeling people based on India, based on Western style, these stereotypes, whether about India, it's whether about West, it act as walls between people. They prevent us from understanding the complexity of cultures and individuals. It reduces the simplistic labels. So when we allow these stereotypes to guide our perceptions, we miss out on opportunities to form authentic connections, to see people as multifaceted and dynamic beings rather than confined to preconceived boxes. Only by breaking down these walls, whatever you have stereotypes, okay, by breaking these walls through open-mindedness, through empathy, and a willingness to learn, then we can truly connect and we can truly bridge the divide between cultures. These stereotypes act like walls. They block our ability to connect. But breaking down these walls, breaking down these barriers, it is simpler than we think. A smile, a genuine conversation, or a helping hand, it can create powerful bonds. Small acts of kindness are like bricks in the bridge of humanity. In a divided world, education is one of the most powerful tools for building bridges. Schools and colleges, they must teach not just academics, but also values of tolerance, values of empathy, and values of inclusivity. Imagine a classroom where children from all backgrounds, they sit together, learn together, and grow together. This is where the seeds of unity are sown. Technology can be a bridge if we can use wisely. Social media, it connects us. Social media has the capability to connect us across distances and differences. But it can also spread hate and misinformation. It is up to us to use these tools to build, not to break. Our responsibility does not end with words. It begins with actions. Let us start by questioning our biases. Let us challenge the narratives that divide us. And let us actively participate in creating a world where everyone feels included and valued. When we see someone being treated unfairly, let us speak up. Let us speak up. When we have the opportunity to include someone who feels excluded, let us act. Because today, divisions exist everywhere. Divisions exist everywhere, in families, in communities, and in nations. In a diverse country like India, these differences can either tear us apart or make us stronger. The choice is ours. So, we must understand that unity begins with small actions. Unity begins with small actions. When we greet a neighbor from another community, share a meal with someone from a different background, or simply listen to other stories, we create connections. These are small actions but make greater connections. These connections are the foundations of the bridges we build. Imagine what India could achieve if every village, town and city focused on uniting rather than dividing. In India, caste and religion, there have been significant barriers for centuries. People still face discrimination and communities are often pitted against each other for political or personal gain. But history teaches us that great leaders like Mahatma Gandhi, B.R. Ambedkar and other freedom fighters, they build bridges by emphasizing equality and compassion. They inspired people. They inspired people to rise above their differences and work toward common goals. We must learn from them. We must learn from them and follow their path. Again, in a divided world, empathy. Empathy plays a vital role. Empathy is a bridge builder. When we put ourselves in someone else's shoes, we understand their struggles. We understand their challenges. For example, think of farmers. Think of farmers in rural India who face hardships every day, or the factory workers who work tirelessly to support their families. Take the example of factory workers or farmers. When we empathize with them, either farmers or factory workers, we can work together to create solutions that benefit everyone, whether it may be farmers or factory workers. We often forget the power of dialogue. Talking and listening, they can solve problems that violence and hatred never. When two people with opposing views sit down and talk, they might not agree on everything, but they will understand each other better. This understanding is the first step toward unity. Building bridges, it requires courage. It is easier to stay in our comfort zones, surrounded by people who think like us. But real growth happens when we step out and connect with those who are different. It takes courage. It takes courage to challenge stereotypes and prejudices, but every small step brings us closer to a united world. Working with people and getting united, they are key to addressing these divisions. Unity is not just a concept. Unity is a practice. It is a practice that begins with small, meaningful actions. When we walk alongside those in need, whether they are struggling with poverty, discrimination, or trauma, we create a sense of togetherness. We create a sense of togetherness with our empathy. In India, where inequality is stark, such efforts can change lives. Imagine the impact of providing a child in a marginalized community with education, or helping a family access health care. These small steps, they look very small steps, but they build trust, they build solidarity. Building bridges, it also means recognizing the collective well-being of society. When we focus on unity, we uplift not just individuals but entire communities. The idea of Ubuntu, I am because we are. It reminds us that we are interconnected. In India, this philosophy aligns beautifully with our cultural values of family, community, and hospitality. When we help others, we ultimately help ourselves. As a social workers, as a citizens, we have a responsibility to stand up for human rights and speak for those who cannot. Marginalized communities, they often feel forgotten, but by listening to their struggles, we can offer hope, we can offer care. In India, this might mean advocating for the rights of Dalits, or advocating for tribal communities, or advocating for women facing oppression. When we listen and act, we restore faith in humanity and create opportunities for inclusion. The challenges we face today, they are immense. If we take the example of COVID-19, this pandemic has shown us how fragile our world can be. Broken supply chains, inflation, and rising geopolitical tensions, they have widened the gaps between us. But these challenges are also opportunities to come together. When disasters strike, they remind us of our shared humanity. To build bridges in a divided world, we must adopt a mindset of togetherness. This means being reflective, contextual, and inclusive. Reflecting, it helps us learn from our past and improve for the future. Contextual, it's a contextual thinking, it reminds us to stay grounded while challenging our bias. Inclusivity calls for humility and an acceptance of diversity. India's diversity is its strength. With over 1.4 billion people speaking different languages, practicing different religions, and following different customs, and unity may seem difficult, but our shared values, they are compassion, tolerance, and respect. So these make it possible. These make our unity possible. Let us focus on what unites us rather than what divides us. Building bridges does not mean erasing differences. It means finding common ground and creating spaces for peaceful dialogue. We may not always agree, but we can always respect each other. Whether it is through social work, or through education, or through community initiatives. We must keep the spirit of unity alive at any cost. Because in a divided world, let us be the ones who connect rather than divide. Let us think big, act locally, and keep our hearts open to the struggles of others. Together, we can create a society that values inclusion, justice, and humanity. Building bridges is not just a task, it is our shared mission for a better tomorrow. India stands on the cusp of greatness in a world that is changing rapidly. Our nation, with its growing economy and dynamic population, it has the potential. Our nation has the potential to shape the future of global affairs. At the same time, we face significant challenges. The challenges that require bold action and unity. forward. India is emerging as a critical player in the global economy. This rapid growth of our nation is a testament to the talent and determination of our people. From technology to agriculture, from technology to agriculture, from industry to innovation, India is proving its ability to compete on the world stage. But economic growth, it alone is not enough. To truly succeed, we must bridge the divides within our own society. India is a land of contrasts. There are rich and poor, and there are urban people and there are rural people, educated and uneducated. These divides cannot be ignored if we wish to create a prosperous future for all. We need policies that promote inclusivity, education, and opportunity for every citizen, regardless of their background. In this journey, India's young population, they play a vital role. With millions of young people entering the workforce each year, we have an opportunity to harness this demographic dividend. But this will only be possible if we provide them with equality, education, and job opportunity. Our youth, they must be empowered. Our youth must be empowered to lead, not just to follow. Globally, India is also poised to take on a leadership role. Our commitment to democracy, our technological advancements, and our growing economy, it makes us a vital player in international arena. We must use this influence to promote peace, to promote sustainability, and to promote cooperation among nations. India has the potential to be a bridge between developed and developing countries, showing the world the power of collaboration. However, this journey will not be without challenges. Economic growth must be balanced with environmental sustainability. Urbanization, it must respect the needs of rural communities. And technological advancement, they must benefit all, not just a few people. These are not easy tasks, but they are necessary. They are necessary for India to truly swing forward as a global leader. The future of India is in our hands. Let us dream big and work hard. Let us build an India that is united, inclusive, and forward-looking. Together we can create a nation that not only thrives but also inspires the world.